Fit to Love, episode 169, How Emotions Light Your Way to Love, Money, and More.
Fit to Love is physical, emotional, and spiritual fitness to achieve the happy life you deserve. From exercise to cooking, relationships, and spirituality, you'll find all the inspiration you need right here with our host, JJ Flizanes.
Hello and welcome to Fit to Love Freedom Fridays. Today's show, How Emotions Light Your Way to Love, Money, and More. We have back Moira Shepard. She is a popular telesummit speaker and the author of the forthcoming book, Top 10 Ways to Be a Love and Money Magnet. Moira supports women in feeling confident that they can actually create the life they want and that they deserve to live it. She specializes in guiding coaches, healers, leaders, teachers, and visionaries to shed the self-doubt and low self-worth that keeps them from living their passion and purpose. As a transformational teacher, Moira activates deep dish breakthroughs in telesummits, blogs, articles, radio shows, workshops, podcasts, and private sessions with clients from Modesto to Munich to Mumbai. Clients, listeners, and readers report feeling profound shifts and changes in their energy, attitude, and behavior after just one session with Moira. After nearly 20 years in the healing arts, Moira rejoices in the privilege of supporting thousands of people in living their dreams, including you, if you're willing. Welcome back to the show, Moira.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm really so delighted to be here with you and your wonderful people, JJ.
Well, thank you. And the last show we did was just chock full of really in-depth information and insight and guidance. And I knew I had to have you back, and I'm probably gonna have to have you back another time too, because that show, we could break that down. So I'm really excited about today's show, which is how emotions light your way to love, money, and more. Emotions are obviously, to me, like one of the most important things we could talk about, that is the driving force and everything. So let's just get right into it. How do our emotions light the way to love?
Well, as you say, JJ, emotions are so much the driving force in nearly everything that we do. We are hearing more and more about the creative power of your word by using affirmations or prayer and declaring that things should be a certain way. And that's definitely part of the creative process. But what really gives it its juice and its momentum and its movement is emotions, which are like energy in motion. It's like you're driving a car. The steering wheel is going to is going to be what directs where you go. The engine is what is going to give you the momentum and movement to actually get you there. So it's like your thoughts are the steering wheel, your emotions are the engine that makes it go, 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 that actually gets you to where you want to be. So emotions are immensely important. They're also misunderstood. A lot of people judge themselves for their emotions. A lot of people shut off from emotions entirely. In fact, a lot of people associate emotion entirely with pain because their emotions hurt so much. They're just chock full of pain. And so they wall themselves off or numb themselves out or operate purely from the brain because they believe that they can think their way to having the love that they want. They believe that they can think their way to having the money that they want. But if they could think their way to it, they'd be there by now. It is the feeling that really gets us where we want to go. And so it's important to recognize that your emotions are signals from your unconscious mind. They're your unconscious mind raising a red flag and saying, hey, we need to look at this. That could be something inside of yourself. It could be something going on in your life. It could be something going on in your relationships. The most important thing for you to know about emotions is that they mean nothing about you. They just are, like the ocean. And emotions come and go like the tide. That's what they're meant to do. It's holding on to emotions that we get into trouble. So I would invite you to just start right now by whatever you're feeling, good, bad, or indifferent. Just take that feeling, take a deep breath, and let the feeling go as you exhale. This will give you a little more room for love. This will give you a little more room for money by just letting go of whatever you're feeling right now. A good first step toward having more love in your life is letting go of the judgments you've made against yourself and your feelings. I hear so many people, especially women, say, I shouldn't be feeling this way, or it's wrong for me to feel this way, or it's stupid that I'm feeling like this. What's the matter with me? it's important to realize those emotions mean nothing about you. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling them. They are just signals from your unconscious mind. Hello, you need to look at this. So when you release your judgment against yourself for having the feelings that you feel that you think are wrong, when you let go of your judgment against the feelings themselves, you create so much room for love. You also release a lot of internal pressure that happens because essentially you're fighting yourself. Here's me, here's my feelings. My feelings shouldn't be like that. Fight, fight, fight. Conflict, conflict, conflict. You're wrestling with yourself. One part of your brain is wrestling with your heart. Nobody wins. And in that battleground between the heart and mind, how can love get in? How can money get in? There's so much inner conflict going on. How can you possibly be open to receive? You batten down the hatches and put on your armor and I'm not going to feel this way anymore. It's a battle that you can never win. The key is to declare victory and go home.
I couldn't agree with you. Well, I couldn't agree with you more that emotions are definitely misunderstood. And in fact, I've done a couple shows about acupuncture, and the emotional body was one of them. In Chinese medicine, when they look at the whole body, and Chinese medicine, by the way, is 10 times older than Western medicine. And when they're looking at the body, they're correlating each one of the organs in Chinese medicine represents an emotion. And so they expect that energy, chi is flowing through your body, emotions are flowing through your body, and you're cycling through all the different emotions all the time.
All the time.
It's when one gets stuck. So in sort of if telling yourself, well, I shouldn't feel this way, know that some medical points of view in Chinese medicine is that yes, each organ has a capacity and energetic frequency of an emotion that it expects to experience on a regular basis. So you're actually built to have all of these emotions, and the judgment, obviously, like Moira just said, is a battle you're never going to win. So you just let go of the judgment. It is what it is. And it is supposed to be this way because that's your, like you said about the wheel, what's driving the car. It's the energy. It's the life force. It's the chi.
It's the chi. Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you're blocking it, pretending you're not feeling something, no wonder you're feeling stuck. It's because you've cut off the life force within you, most natural thing in the world.
Now, hold on. Before we continue, on the last show, in case you haven't heard Moira's first show we did together, which was the 7 Spiritual Secrets of Abundance, and this is the first time you're listening to us together, and you don't know any more than what I've just told you on this particular show about Moira. She's got a really great story, and I would encourage you to go back and listen to that podcast in order to understand that story. I'm going to take what we've talked about, I'm going to bring it forward just a little bit because Moira, based on your story, right? You've lived this. You've lived blocking yourself off from your feelings, right?
Oh, yes. Big time. Big time.
And it took you down. And so would it be okay to paraphrase and say that there was some feelings maybe that you were having or things that you were afraid to feel that literally had you flat on your back for years until you were able to come to terms with that? Do you know any more about the whys for you that you could share with us to give us a little bit of insight of what you've experienced and been through and broken through?
Yes, absolutely. As I mentioned previously, I was on a job, on a series of jobs. I was in mass media for 20 years, and at the last job that I was on, which I had been on for about 10 years, I started getting all these little signs that it was really time to go. I mean, I'd had big signs before at the 1-year mark and at the 5-year mark when I had new supervisors. These guys would take me to lunch and say, Moira, this job is using maybe 10% of your capacity. You could do so much more. You could be so much more. You're the rock of the office. We get that. But oh my God, you could do and be so much more. How can we help you with that? I had no idea how to answer them. I didn't know what to do with that information because I thought that this job was the source of my financial security. And if I left it, I'd be doomed. I'd be broke. I'd be homeless. So leaving the job seemed terribly threatening. It seemed like a really bad idea. So I was frightened about leaving the job. But a few weeks before, I had a back injury on the job that took me out for 7 years. I started getting signs like I would notice that whenever I saw a certain supervisor's car in the office parking lot, my stomach would just go into knots. It's, oh God, he's here. And I didn't know what to make of that because I really liked and respected this man. And he really liked and respected me. But when I knew he was going to be in the office, my innards would just twist into a knot. At one point, I was doing a project for him just as up to the very last day of my time on the job. It was a project that should have taken a day. It took 3 weeks, and I had to hire 3 temps. It was like, why is this taking so long? I don't understand it. These were all signs from the universe saying, Moira, you got to get out of here. You got to get out of here. And I kept saying, no, 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 don't make me look. I can't go. I'll be homeless. Don't talk to me. And finally, the day came where an angel kissed me on the spine and said, baby girl, you are out of here. And I took that last load of magazines down to be taken away and delivered, hurt my back on the job, ground up a couple of discs, won't go into the details, had these 5 failed surgeries, went into alternative healing that finally got me to realizing a lot of things. And something that I hadn't mentioned previously was about a year after I had a miraculous healing where I couldn't stay in bed any longer because my soul was so on fire with the idea of being a healing presence in the world. About a year after that, I was in training to become an energy healer myself. And it was a 21-day training. And I thought, how am I going to do this? There's no way. I can't stay vertical for 21 days. This is nuts. At the end of the second day, the trainer talked about how if you have lower back pain and you've had surgery to heal it, if you still got pain after 6 weeks, there's something emotional or mental going on. So they showed us what to do about that. And as soon as I got home that day, I talked to my spine. I said, spine, what's up with all the pain? And it said, we're trying to keep you safe. Life has been so hard for you. You've had so much struggle and difficulty. We're keeping you safe by keeping you in bed. And I said, okay, I can really appreciate that. I love your idea that you want to keep me safe and protected. Does it make sense that I would be even more safe and protected if I were strong and healthy and I had 0 pain so I could get out there and live my life and create emotional fulfillment and financial security in my life? And I heard this little, oh, I never thought of that. Whew. The pain went away that second. It has never come back.
Excellent. Okay. Thank you for that. And really, if you haven't heard the whole story, although that was a good synopsis of the story, I knew Moira back when she was having pain and couldn't be upright for a long period of time. And I know her and I've watched her for years. And so I just wanted to make sure that everyone understood that this was I am walking my talk, and I've gone through probably one of the worst things you can go through, which is being paralyzed. And so she's lived it. So she's here to help us not have to live what she's lived in order for us to get the messages sooner. So hopefully you're all open to that. So we have, how do our emotions light our way to love? How do our emotions light our way to money?
The way our emotions light our way to money is like we've been talking about. Your emotions are signals from your unconscious mind that you need to look at this. So an example might be if you feel like you're a slave to your job, like you have to have it in order to have financial security. If you feel like a slave to your need for money so you can pay off your debts or fund your kids going to college. Or if you feel like a slave to those who depend upon you to financially support them, these are signals from your unconscious mind that let you know your soul is feeling enslaved. Your soul hates to be a slave. Freedom is the natural state of your soul. If you feel enslaved by financial obligations of any kind, your soul will rebel by messing up your life until it feels free again, which is exactly what it did with me. So this feeling of slavery or the weight of obligation or resentment, like, oh God, I never get to play with my kids because I work 20 hours a day to support them. Feelings of slavery like these alert you that you need to look at whatever is making you feel like a slave. For instance, with the family matter, it may be that even though you love your family, it may be that this enslavement feeling comes from you somehow seeing them on some level as a burden, as a heavy weight that you must carry financially. The way to turn that around is to pray for right perception, which the Course in Miracles tells us is the only miracle we ever need to pray for. So if you can call to your mind for a moment, anyone or anything you're looking upon as a financial burden that you must carry, whether it's a person or a debt or whatever it is, let us pray in this moment for right perception of the matter. You may be guided to see your family in a new way, perhaps as a blessing, and that taking care of them financially honors them and honors your soul. So when your soul starts to see, oh, we have a choice. I have a choice in how I see this. I have a choice in how I think about it. Your prayer for right perception illuminates your soul with the awareness that you need to see beyond the emotion that I am carrying a burden, I am a slave, to see that it's the way you think about it that makes it feel like slavery. It's the way you think about it. It makes you feel like a burden because feelings follow thoughts. So when you identify the thought, my family is a burden, or my debt is a burden, my obligation, whatever it is a burden, and pray, give me another way to look at that, to your higher power, however you see whatever is greater than your individual self, as you say it, and pray to that higher power. What is another way that I can see this? It expands and illuminates your understanding of what you're doing, why you're doing it, in a way that you can make peace with it. It opens the door to new possibilities. It opens the door to a new way of having income come in. Because when you're a slave, you've got one master. That is it. You cannot go outside that master-slave relationship to make more money. But since you're not really a slave, since there has been choice in the matter and choice in how you've seen the matter, you can realize, oh, well, I can do this job and it will pay for this and this. And I can take on another project. I can take on something else, or I can do something part-time and keep building up my practice or my client list or sales or whatever until I'm making enough to replace my income, and then I can quit. In terms of just hating your job outright, you don't see it as an obligation, but you're bored or angry or irritated with your job or with your partner, bored or irritated with your partner. If you're bored or irritated with your life, nothing ever happens for me. These are indications from your unconscious mind that you need to re-examine your job, your partner, or your life by praying for right perception and asking, what was my part in creating what I'm hating so much here? What have I tolerated? What have I let slide? What have I ignored? Then you can pray for right perception, and your higher power will help you see the matter in a new light where no one is to blame, and you get very clear about where your own responsibility begins and where your responsibility ends. So you have clarity about steps you can take to change the situation or make peace with it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
Thank you. I have one more thing about following your calling, creativity in relation to money and work, stuff like that. Do we have time for that?
Absolutely. But we do need a moment to thank our sponsors. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk about money, love, and creativity and purpose. Do you love listening to audiobooks? Or do you think you'd read more if you could listen to them? Well, for you listeners, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you the opportunity to check out their service. With over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player. To download your free audiobook today, go to fit2lovebook.com. That's FIT, the number 2, LOVE, book.com to get your free audiobook with your free 30-day trial to Audible. If you're unhappy with your trial and you don't want to continue, you get to cancel before the 30 days are over and keep your free audiobook. It is 100% risk-free. So go to fit2lovebook.com. That's FIT, the number 2, LOVEBOOK.com to get your free audiobook today. Is your website working for you? If it's not, and you're frustrated with your brand, website, or current online results, Every Angle Media can help transform your existing business presence and build you a website that works when you're not working. Every Angle Media is a full-service web development firm that specializes in solving problems with open-source solutions. We offer complete design services, custom content management systems, fully integrated e-commerce solutions, cross-platform mobile development, and custom third-party integration, and we're here to help. Visit our site to see our work at everyanglemedia.com or give us a call at 310-798-7228. Again, that's everyanglemedia.com. Okay, Moira,
Okay.
continue.
Thank you, JJ. I appreciate that. So, a lot of people love the idea of I'm going to follow my bliss. I'm going to quit my day job and do what I've always dreamed of doing, whether it's being a painter or a puppeteer or whatever it is that you have in mind that really thrills you to the marrow. Let's say you've always wanted to be a painter, but your parents promised you, they swore up and down, if you became a painter, honey, you will starve to death. You're going to have to do something more practical. So if you're like most people, you did it. You did something more practical. You went into a more lucrative line of work and you feel your soul shriveling. What is to be done? What you can do is start looking at how can I bring this thing I love back into my life? You may start painting on weekends. You might take a class to remind you or to upgrade your painting skills if you haven't picked up a brush in 10 or 20 years, or even just go to a museum or a gallery and look at paintings you love. This will inspire you. The feeling of love, the sense of soul expansion when you open your mind and your life and your experience to the painting or the art or whatever it is that you love, and just allow yourself to enjoy it without worrying about whether you make money at it or not. Just do it because it's something that's meaningful to you, that you love, that nourishes your soul. This can have several effects. Your job or your partner or your life or whatever it is will probably bother you much, much less because you're getting fulfillment and the joyful juju of creativity by creating space and time in your life for doing what nourishes you. Another piece that can be wonderful and unexpected is that when you start doing things that allow you to experience what you love, like the art or the theater or the whatever creative endeavor you love, is that it activates the law of unrelated action. This is fascinating, the law of unrelated action. In a nutshell, it's kind of like you do this over here, and suddenly that opens up over there. Goodness, how did that happen? This means that even if your job that you have now never permits you to paint or do whatever your creative endeavor is, you will still be in flow. You will still be more connected to greater opportunities for financial abundance because you've given yourself permission to return to something that you love. So it restores you to the place of love from which all abundance, including prosperity, flows. When you're in that flow, you may be asked to take on an art-related position in your job that you never even thought of applying for. Through the law of unrelated action, if you go to a gallery or take a painting class, you may start painting and get rich and famous. You may be offered a new art-oriented job somewhere else. You may meet an art-loving person who becomes a dear friend or a lover. Or you may just feel more happy and alive because you've taken time to devote time and energy on something that nourishes your soul, that nourishes your heart, that makes you feel more emotionally rich and alive. When you feel like this can translate into more harmony with your loved ones, more effectiveness at work, which could lead to raises and promotions, more joy in your day-to-day life, and more opportunities to experience that which you love, which inspires you and makes you feel creative. More opportunities for that will come into your life because instead of closing the door on them as you did before, you have now opened the door. And it was your emotions that got you there that made you feel like my soul is starving, my soul is shriveling. Instead of going, oh, my soul is shriveling, you pay attention. You say, what can I do to unshrivel this here soul? What can I do to give it juice and love and fire and music and creativity and joy? What can I do? See, the brain is kind of like a Google search engine. You ask it an open question like that, and it will bring you the information from wherever it is, in the collective consciousness, the mind of God, your next door neighbor, wherever it happens to be. So if you're looking for how can I find a way to nourish my soul that's easy and fun that I can do today, that's your question. How can I nourish my soul today in a way that's easy and fun? And let the information come to you from wherever it is. It may show up as a picture in your mind. It may come up as an intuition, which is kind of knowing without knowing how you know. It may come up as a feeling in your body. However you experience the answer to that question, it's exactly right. So once you know, this is what I could do today. to feel more inspired, more alive. This is what I could do today to nourish myself. This is something I can do today to feel more abundant, to create a feeling of richness and abundance in my life. And then you do it. Give yourself permission to do it, because bottom line, my dear, if your soul ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
I'm going to give you an amen there. It's a Freedom Friday show. I just felt it come and I felt like I needed to do it. So there's so much more we could still, I thought of 3 different stories I could share, but we are running out of time for this show. So I want to make sure that people know how they could work with you. They feel stuck. They are inspired by your story. They're resonating with what you say. So they really don't know how to get started. So Moira, can you share with people how they can work with you or how they can get more information?
I've got 2 ways available. One is through a meditation that I've created. It's a guided meditation, an MP3 download, and you can get that by going to following JJ's link, in which it is revealed to you the top 10 ways to be a love and money magnet. It includes 10 practices that we go through that includes healings and clearings and illuminations and insights and opportunity for right perception, the only miracle you ever need according to the Course in Miracles. And it all is only less than 25 minutes. So it's something you can listen to every day before you go to sleep, once, whatever works for you. But because there's so much healing energy and consciousness embedded in the meditation, that as soon as you listen to it, transformation will start to happen on the cellular level, genetic level, the soul level. The other way to work with me, if you feel like you want something a little more personal, like some private one-on-one time with me, I'd love to do that. I'm available to you wherever you are in the world, by phone or by Skype, and it's a delight and an honor to support you in creating the life that you want and feeling like you deserve to live it. And you can find that information by following the link to moirashepard.com, and you'll find that link on JJ's site also.
Absolutely. So come on over to fit2love.tv to check out the link to Moira's free gift and to get the link to her website, and leave us a comment if you were inspired by today's show. And if you feel that others could benefit, we'd love it if you'd share it. So thank you again, Moira, so much for being here.
You're so welcome. Such a blessing.
Today's show was brought to you by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook download and 30-day free trial at fit2lovebook.com. With over 150,000 titles to choose from for your iPhone, Android, Kindle, or MP3 player, it is 100% risk-free. That's fit2lovebook.com, fit2lovebook.com. The Fit to Love podcast show offers you 6 days a week of helpful content to achieve the happy life you deserve. Movement Mondays and Tasty Tuesdays are weekly videocasts, while Wellness Wednesdays, Thoughtful Thursdays, Freedom Fridays, and Sexy Saturdays are audio-only shows themed every week to address your holistic life and needs. If the show inspired you, we would love for you to share it and subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today. Head on over to fit2love.tv for recaps of every show, resources, and to join the community. That's FIT2LOVE.tv. Have a fit and fabulous day.